Good evening. Welcome to the NCWLIFE Evening News. I'm Jefferson Robbins, filling in for Grant Olson. Before we get to today's top news stories, let's take a quick look outside our weather window here. What you see is kind of what you get. This is our view from the Omi Gardens looking downriver on the Columbia for once. Usually we get the upriver view. A lot of overcast skies today and apparently in days to come. No moisture to speak of today, at least none collecting on the valley floors, but that is likely to change as we move out of this week, with chances of snow arriving just in time for the weekend. I'm hoping we get at least one clear night on the 21st so we can see the Christmas star effect when Jupiter and Saturn are in conjunction. Who knows? Maybe. Dan Kuntz will be along a bit later with your full forecast. But right now, a few of the stories that we are following for you tonight. The governor extends the public health orders to suppress COVID-19 through Christmas and into early January. The virus is affecting the Grant County Sheriff's Office after 4 corrections workers test positive. And 12th District Senator Brad Hawkins has filed the first bill of the upcoming Washington legislative session. But first, we begin tonight with a fire that consumed a truck camper Sunday night in Wenatchee and has left one person dead. Andy Davidson, Deputy Chief of Operations with Chelan County Fire District 1, says his crews responded just before midnight to South Miller Street and Red Apple Road near Central Washington Hospital, where the camper on a parked pickup was engulfed. Both the male victim and a dog were found dead inside the camper once it was extinguished. Davidson said the fire broke out in the camper space, but the cause hasn't yet been determined. The deceased man appeared to be living in the camper and moving the vehicle around the neighborhood. Coroner Wayne Harris said the victim has not yet been identified. Well, Governor Jay Inslee today extended his emergency orders affecting the state of Washington, which are meant to address the COVID-19 crisis. That means a continued ban on indoor dining, wedding and funeral receptions, and any large indoor gatherings that involve more than one household until at least January 4th. Those orders were scheduled to expire next week. In addition, the governor says while Congress hasn't extended financial relief for those left jobless by the pandemic, the state of Washington plans to step up.
Because COVID strikes both at our health and our economic well-being, we're also announcing an additional $50 million in additional grants for businesses, specifically those who have been hit hardest by these restrictions, as well as economic safeguards for workers who might be losing their employment and income as a result of the pandemic. This package is on top of the $135 million in economic relief that I announced 2 weeks ago. We're doing this in response to the overwhelming need for economic assistance during this crisis. We know this will not eliminate all of the economic suffering that people are experiencing, and we are continuing to push Congress as hard as we can for the ultimate source of relief from Congress. We will also continue working with legislators early in the next session to consider additional potential help as well.
Now, Inslee expanded those orders in part because hospital intensive care units across the state are filling up too fast. 80% of beds are full statewide. 1,000 people are currently in intensive care. It's the same picture here in Wenatchee. Just days after Confluence Health warned its resources are being stretched dangerously thin, there was another big jump in the number of people hospitalized with COVID-19 at Central Washington Hospital. Confluence Health said today that the hospital is caring for 35 coronavirus patients, down from 36 yesterday, with 8 of those in the intensive care unit on ventilators. A week ago, the hospital was treating 29 COVID-19 patients, with 6 on ventilators. Well, the pandemic is affecting operations at the Grant County Sheriff's Office. The department shut down its offices in Ephrata today after 4 employees at the jail tested positive for COVID-19. The Sheriff's Office says there have been no reported cases among inmates there. The closure began this morning and will continue until further notice. Close contacts of the Corrections Division's employees who tested positive have been notified. Support staff will work remotely, and deputies will continue to respond to emergency and non-emergency calls. In addition, Grant County has closed the county clerk's office inside the Ephrata courthouse until further notice because of possible exposure to the virus. Well, coming up next, local police catch up with a Colorado fugitive allegedly traveling in a stolen car with some suspicious materials. I'm Jefferson Robbins. You're watching the NCWLIFE Evening News. Stay with us.
Traditional values and innovation in honoring the life of each family we serve is part of the ministry of Heritage Memorial Chapel. Our staff is committed to walk with your family with compassion through this time of grief. We are here to help and here to serve, the right kind of help when you need it most. Heritage Memorial Chapel.
I have a hereditary bone disease from the female side of my family. My bone loss was so significant that you could almost see the roots. I became embarrassed and I started covering my mouth. Eating became very difficult as far as I stopped eating apples, corn on the cob, things that you just eat as it is without utensils. Dr. Divis was my dentist prior to having implants. We talked about traditional dentures or implants, and implants was the only way really that I could go. John Divis and all of his office staff, they checked on me throughout all the processes. I would never go anyplace else. Today I can eat corn on the cob, I can have apples. Thanks to Dr. John Divis and his staff, I have my smile back. I feel more confident. I am me again.
This is John Divis. Let our team help you solve your dental needs.
So Pam, how's your mom doing?
She's okay. She's struggling. She'd like to stay in her house, and it's getting harder for her to do the daily chores.
What kinds of problems is she having?
Just basic house cleaning, you know, taking care of her house, yard work, taking care of her medicine.
Mm-hmm. It does sound exhausting.
It is very exhausting, and I always worry about her.
Aging and Adult Care can assist you or your loved one to remain comfortably and safely in their own home. Contact them today to start the conversation.
Welcome back to the NCWLIFE Evening News. 12th District Senator Brad Hawkins has filed the first bill of the upcoming Washington legislative session. It's a follow-up on the bill Hawkins sponsored last year to allow PUDs to produce and sell renewable hydrogen. The sequel would establish an 8-year statewide pilot project to reduce sales tax on the purchase of fuel cell electric vehicles. That would put fuel cell cars on the same sales tax level as plug-in electrics. The Douglas County PUD wants to get into the hydrogen production business for fuel and industrial uses. Hawkins says so far his bill has bipartisan support from nearly 20 co-sponsors. The new legislative session starts next month in Olympia. Well, the median price for a home in the Wenatchee area reached $370,000 in November, but the number of homes sold and available for sale has declined. In its monthly report, Pacific Appraisal said only 81 homes were sold in November, down from 95 a year ago. Only 60 homes were currently on the market compared to 141 in November 2019. But the total number of homes sold in the Wenatchee Valley in 2020 is up 3% from the previous year, with 990 homes sold so far this year. Well, the East Wenatchee Police and Douglas County Sheriff's deputies arrested a Colorado man on Sunday who's accused of driving a stolen SUV. 20-year-old Casey Hatley of Grand Junction, Colorado, allegedly fled from an East Wenatchee police officer who spotted suspicious plates on the RAV4 he was driving about 2:20 a.m. on Sunday. The driver abandoned the truck and it was soon found to be stolen. Inside, police say they found loaded syringes, license plates from another vehicle, shotgun shells in a shotgun stock, and numerous shaved keys commonly used in vehicle theft. A deputy that afternoon caught up with Hatley at BJ's Shell in Rock Island. He allegedly admitted driving the stolen truck and stealing plates to disguise it. Hatley faces possible charges of stolen vehicle possession, possession of a dangerous weapon, and failure to stop for law enforcement. You're watching the NCWLIFE Evening News. Coming up next, a forestry expert offers tips for the care and feeding of your wild harvested Christmas tree. That plus weather with Dan Kuntz and sports with Eric Granstrom are still to come on the NCWLIFE Evening News. Stay with us.
Family roles change with time. You may find yourself being an unpaid caregiver to a loved one. Caregiving can be rewarding, but also stressful. Taking care of yourself is vital. Aging and Adult Care of Central Washington has low or no cost services for unpaid caregivers, such as in-home support, care supplies, and counseling. Connect in your local area by calling Aging and Adult Care at 800-572-4459 and mention you're interested in caregiver support.
Here's to 5 billion miles of amazing. 5 billion miles of...
This is so cool.
5 billion miles of helping you stay safe. 5 billion miles of passing the pump. 5 billion miles of... That's 5 billion miles driven around the world. The all-electric 2020 Nissan Leaf.
The extended range 2020 Leaf is now available at Town Nissan, right behind Costco in East Wenatchee.
At Local Myth Pizza, we believe in real food, freshly prepared with only premium ingredients. Our cheeses are imported from Italy. Our sauces, dressings, and even our sausages are made in-house fresh daily. Featuring Northwest craft beers and 30 Chelan Valley wines and ciders. Family fun and amazing food. Eat local, drink local, and be local at Local Myth Pizza.
Come see why Sunset Magazine says you can't beat Local Myth Pizza.
Welcome back. The U.S. Forest Service says it has the best deals on Christmas trees, and all you have to do is get a permit, drive to a federal forest, and cut your tree down. Retired Forest Service forester and current master gardener Connie Memel explains the best way to go about doing all of that.
About 400,000 households go to the national forests every year to cut their Christmas trees from the wild. And if you don't demand perfection, it's the best deal in town. For $5, you can get a permit to cut a tree from your national forest. You can get those permits from a vendor, or the more convenient option is you can go online and print out a permit, and this you will just put on your dashboard with the date that you cut your tree. You can cut a tree up to 15 feet high, like this beautiful Douglas fir that's behind me. But how is it that you could cut that tree in November and still have needles on it for Christmas? Well, the answer is, once winter temperatures reach the national forest, the tree's photosynthesis starts to slow down. As it freezes at night, it slows down more and more. And once the temperature at night gets below about 20 degrees, photosynthesis stops, and it won't start again until spring. So you can cut that tree and take it home, and until you're ready to put it up, leave it outside, out of the sun, in some kind of sheltered place. Maybe you have an unheated garage or a shed where you can put it. And then when you're ready to bring it into your house, make a fresh cut on the base and bring it in, put it in your stand, and that stand needs to hold at least a gallon of water, because once that tree thinks it's spring again, it's going to start using a lot of water. It's surprising how much it will drink in a day. So be ready to give it a gallon of water and water it every day for at least the first week until that all has stabilized. So enjoy your tree and enjoy your adventure in the National Forest, and happy holidays.
And when you're hunting for a backcountry Christmas tree, you're going to want to check the weather first. So here's Dan Kuntz to take care of that for you. Dan?
Hope your Tuesday went well. From Mother Nature's perspective, well, she kind of took the day off. Kind of the same weather we've been seeing really over the last 4 or 5 days. The only difference is a little bit warmer today, not by much, but a little bit warmer. We were having a hard time getting out of the 20s over the weekend, but we warmed up a little bit today. Not much, but a little bit warmer, and things are going to get a little more active. We'll give you the details here in just a couple minutes as we look at our what we call the Orondo Rock Camera, courtesy of Localtel's Sky-Fi setup. As we look over Lake Annie, way off into the distance, of course, is Rocky Reach Dam, the Wenatchee Valley even farther out in the distance, and you can kind of make out Turtle Rock right there. Turtle Rock. People have asked me how Turtle Rock got its name, and of course, for those of you who don't know, Turtle Rock is named after our 14th Vice President, Turtle Rock. So anyway, let's take a look at the almanac for today. Once again, sunshine took the day off. It's allowed to do that. Sun will be back a little bit tomorrow, though. We only topped off at about 35 degrees, which is just actually right about normal for this time of year. So as you can see, it was as typical a mid-November day as you're going to find around the Wenatchee Valley. Nowhere near the record high nor the record low of -1 degrees. I'm cold just even looking at that. 8 hours and 34 minutes of daylight, losing about 60 seconds of daylight, getting closer and closer to the winter solstice coming up on December 21st, the first day of winter. As we look at tomorrow's highs, you'll notice they're going to be a lot warmer than we had over the last 4 or 5 days because we got some warm air coming in and some moist air too. maybe even a little bit of snow. We'll get to those details. 40 for Moses Lake tomorrow. Moses Lake out in the basin at 43. Quincy will check in at 43. Wenatchee, we're going to top off at 44 tomorrow. About 10 degrees warmer than what we saw today. And of course, you get up into the areas where they're a little more prone to more shadows and more tree covers. They'll have a hard time getting up near 40. Unlike the valley, we'll see highs in the mid-40s tomorrow with a little bit of wind too. So what exactly is going on out there? First of all, that air stagnation advisory is gone. That big ridge of high pressure has 86'd itself. That's why we had the clouds come in today. Little bit of rain possible tonight. As you can see, there's that little band right there that's working its way over the Cascade Mountains. But actually, up in the Cascades, for instance, I-90, they had temperatures in the 40s today, and they were getting some rain. But it's going to come down to where it's a little bit cooler here. We could even see a little bit of snowflake or two. Don't think so. I think the shadows of the Cascades are going to protect us. Wednesday, partly cloudy, a little breezy. Tomorrow will be once again in the mid-40s. We're going to calm down, cloud up. Basically, Thursday is going to look a lot like today. Lots of clouds, little wind, and highs will be in the mid-30s. That's on Thursday. Next chance of snow, maybe Friday. Now, here's the deal. The snow level is going to drop down quite a bit, but there's also not a lot of moisture associated with this. So the snow level is going to be close to the valley floor on Friday night into Saturday, but there's really not a lot of moisture out there as well. And then we jump ahead to the weekend. Saturday, mostly cloudy. If we get snow, it'll be early on Saturday morning, and then it'll dissipate. As you can see, we're going to have highs in the upper 30s on Saturday, and the same deal on Sunday. Highs will be in the upper 30s. Saturday and Sunday look to be mirror images of each other. Again, maybe some light morning snow. It'll certainly be melting away by the mid to late hours of the morning on Sunday. Again, a chance of snow level down there, but whatever snow we're going to get with a high of about 40 degrees on Sunday, it's going to long be melted. In the upper elevations, they'll have some snow that may stick around a little bit. Then we get going next week with a high of 43. Again, slight chance of snow in the early morning hours. The snow level is going to be down near the valley floor, but it's going to rise up to above 2,000 feet by the time we get to Monday afternoon. So very, very typical early December weather, if you will, for the north central Washington area. So let's take a look at it in detail one more time. 35, lots of clouds today. 33 for the overnight low. That's not a typo. Only 2 degrees differential between the high and the low today. Considerably warmer tomorrow. A little breezy at times as that weak system moves in. We'll top off at 44. I don't think we're going to see 44 again for a while. As you can see, clouding up and cooling down on Thursday. Friday, maybe a couple of light snowflakes overnight Friday into Saturday. Saturday morning and Sunday morning could get some light snow. It'll melt by the time the noon hour rolls around, and then we go back to work on Monday under partly sunny skies and a slight chance of snow. No real significant weather event in the foreseeable future for the north central Washington area. That's your weather forecast. Still to come, sports with Eric Granstrom and more with Jefferson Robbins. You're watching the NCWLIFE Evening News.
Winter is a great time to trade in your current hot tub. Turn your old hot tub into money with Blue Lagoon Pool and Spa's trade-in program. You can save $500 to $1,000 off of any new artesian spa or take advantage of a free Bluetooth music experience. Blue Lagoon Pool and Spa recommends draining your hot tub every 3 months. Ask us about our drain and refill special. Stop on by Blue Lagoon Pool and Spa today.
Highlander Golf Course is proud to announce their 2 new state-of-the-art full-swing golf simulators with over 80 courses of virtual golf to choose from year-round. Or try their Laser Shot simulated firearm program, or gaming with football, basketball, and much more. Enjoy Highlander food and drink service from their full-service bar and grill in the comfort of their simulator room. Call the Highlander Pro Shop to book your time at 884-4653. That's 884-4653.
And now it's a sports update on the NCWLIFE channel.
And a happy Tuesday to you. The Seattle Sounders FC will play for another MLS Cup after a thrilling cover-behind victory over Minnesota last night. Playing at an empty Lumen Field, Seattle trailed United FC 2-0 late in the second half. Well, that's when Will Bruin turned the tide and sent the Sounders on to the Western Conference Finals win.
What control on that ball? His shot blocked. Bruin a chance. Game on. Will Bruin first to react to the block.
What he can do in just the flash, just reacts first here with the right foot, comes off the back of Boxall, who's thinking, where's the ball right now? St. Clair's stranded. He's off balance.
4 minutes of stoppage time on the way. Ladero's out swinging. Ball flicked to the far side. Ruy Diaz scores! Raul Ruy Diaz!
Dangerous man on the field for Seattle in front of goal. He is there. Had one taken back for VAR, had one that he missed in the first half. Goal scorers, the best of them, short memories. Barry's the one that counts.
And now the substitute getting that throw in deep off the bounce. First there was Boxall. Ladero on the deck. Morris picks it up. Ruy Diaz! It clicked off the outside of the post. It took a deflection. It's out for a corner.
Arms tucked tight.
Well, Alonso or Luis Diaz, here he comes. Svensson! I can't even find the words, but Seattle's found their goal. Gustav Svensson, stoppage time. Come from behind, winner for Seattle.
It is Seattle's 4th MLS Cup final in the last 5 years. Coach Brian Schmetzer says that the players continue to believe in each other no matter what.
I mean, Minnesota had the game in their hand. 15 minutes to go. In comes Will Bruin, Midwest guy, you know, ready for the fight, ready to have at it, and he sparks the group. Well, I always talk about next man up. I always talk about, you know, what is good about this franchise. Well, there's Will, and he's had his challenges because he believes he can be a starter on other MLS teams, and he could, but he's here, and he works for all of his teammates in that locker room. And I couldn't be prouder of, you know, Will's response, Gustav's response, Raul's goal, the guys that were still on the field that, you know, that persevered under adversity. I mean, again, we use mentality. It's a catchphrase. It's, you know, whatever. It's culture and all that. I'm telling you, in that locker room, it's real.
The biggest thing missing last night? Fans. Lumen Field would still be shaking after the Sounders comeback. Will Bruin and Gustav Svensson says the fans were certainly missed.
It's a good question. 2020 is just a weird year. I think with fans, this game would have been easier for us, especially when you're down 2-0 and you're pushing, you're fighting for, you know, equalization. And when you have the fans behind you, it's easier. So we missed them a lot. But you know, we felt the momentum, like I said before, after Will's goal, and that helped a lot.
It's definitely different without fans. The place would have been rocking, and like literally, it probably would have been shaking at the end. But you know, we definitely miss them. We know they were watching. All the fans were watching, though. So hopefully, we put on a good show for them. And you know, it's nice to win a conference final, another conference final for them, and you know, hopefully, we can get one more trophy for them.
Seattle will play for the 2020 MLS Cup Saturday at 5 o'clock against the Columbus Crew. That'll be at Moffrey Stadium, and you can watch it on Fox. Well, the Seahawks still collecting their thoughts on what went awry in the 17-12 loss to the Giants Sunday in Seattle. Coach Pete Carroll met with the media remotely Monday and said, well, there's still a lot of improvements that need to be made.
There's some real obvious things on, you know, third downs on offense would have made a huge difference. Not converting. We got to stay out of the real long ones. They're so difficult, and that becomes that you know is because of the plays that happened before. We want to run the ball. You know, always want to run the football. Chris looked really good. I'd love to see him more. Defensively, we had a portion of the game, you know, in the third quarter. It was really the third quarter was where we just lost our edge for a moment and then regained it. I'd like to see the consistency all the way throughout. I really liked the way the defense was running and hitting. I thought Jordan Brooks really showed up. I think this was by far his best game. I really liked the way Jamal played. He was all over the field making things happen. And so, there's tons of stuff that I thought special teams really played good again, and love the way that those guys were running and hitting and making their plays.
Seattle will host the 0-12. That's right, 0-12 New York Jets Sunday at Lumen Field. That kickoff at 1:05. And the game, by the way, broadcast on CBS. Sorry to those fans who have satellite dishes that don't get CBS anymore. Well, they're set the times and broadcast channels for the weekend's regular season finales for the Cougars and Huskies. Washington will play at Autzen Stadium in Eugene in Oregon on Saturday at 1 o'clock. You can watch that game on Fox. That's for the Pac-12 North title. Washington State will host Cal and Martin Stadium in Pullman Saturday night at 7:30. That game on FS1. Well, the WIAA has yet again shifted the expected start dates for high school sports in Washington. Season 2, which includes basketball, bowling, boys swimming, and diving and wrestling, is set to begin February 1st. Season 3, which includes cheerleading, cross country, football, slow pitch softball, girls soccer, girls swimming and diving, and volleyball, set to begin March 15th. And Season 4 would begin March 26th. April 26th, that is, includes baseball, dance and drill, fast pitch softball, golf, boys soccer, tennis, and track. Wenatchee Athletic Director Jim Beeson says the Big 9 ADs are meeting tomorrow to discuss alternatives to what is an overlapping schedule. That's a look at sports news. I'm Eric Granstrom. Jefferson, back to you.
Thank you, Eric. Finally from us tonight, East Wenatchee's sister city, Misawa, Japan, has sent out a special greeting to the people of the Wenatchee Valley. The COVID-19 pandemic prevented delegations from the two cities from visiting each other this year. Produced by the Misawa International Center, the video message is titled Warm Holiday Greetings to Friends in the Wenatchee Valley. Take a look.
Merry, Merry Christmas and Happy New Year!
Merry Christmas!
Merry Christmas!
Merry Christmas!
That's a sweet message. Now it's a regular check-in with my sister city, Dan Kuntz of NCWLIFE's Daily Morning Show. Wake up, Wenatchee Valley, to hear what he's serving up with your coffee tomorrow morning. Dan?
Thank you, Jefferson. On Wednesday's edition of Wake Up Wenatchee Valley, I'll have a conversation with Dr. Casey Grass. Casey is a behavioral health specialist with Confluence Health. The holidays can be stressful enough as it is without COVID-19 hanging around, and now you have the combination of the basic holiday Christmas kind of stress that some people suffer from and COVID-19. That's a double whammy. Dr. Casey Grass will help us walk through how the holidays are going to be so much different this year. Make sure that your mental health is up to date with Dr. Grass. That'll be our conversation tomorrow on Wake Up Wenatchee Valley and everything else you need to start your Wednesday. And that would be live and local and right here at 7 a.m. tomorrow on Wake Up Wenatchee Valley. And yes, Jefferson, I always got my mask. Back to you.
Thank you, Dan. That's going to do it for our newscast tonight. For more on these stories and other news from around North Central Washington, you can find us on Facebook or on our website, ncwlife.com. And do remember, if you see news happening, we'd like to hear from you. You can send us an email, news@ncwlife.com, or give us a call, 888-6295. That's 888-NCWL. I'm Jefferson Robbins. I'll be back here with you tomorrow night at 5, 6, and 10. Till I see you next, stay healthy.
You don't want to see this happen. It's the oil light on your car. Oil is the lube of life for your car's engine. At Alignment Pros and Express Lube, they pour the best oil your car deserves. Expect fast, friendly, superior service in a clean environment. They'll change your oil and perform a 21-point inspection while you enjoy the comfort of their amazing waiting room. Keep your car in top shape at Alignment Pros and Express Lube in East Wenatchee.
It's the Ford Built for the Holiday sales event going on now at Pat Armstrong Ford. It's the most wonderful time of the year at Pat Armstrong Ford. Our deals are built for joy. Get 0% APR for 60 months on a 2020 Ford Expedition, plus $22.50 trade assist and 90-day deferred payment. Dash in for deals and save by the sleigh load. Unlock your merry today at Pat Armstrong Ford. We are community strong in East Wenatchee.